I did it. I was drowning in debt, lacked formal education, and had no logical reason to believe in success. I began repeating a single affirmation daily. I am so happy and grateful that money flows to me abundantly from multiple sources, continuously. I repeated it hundreds of times a day, aloud and silently, writing it down. I didn't just say it, I felt it. I forced myself to visualize this reality, seeing myself paying bills with ease, helping others, traveling, living freely. The more I repeated it, the more I believed it. The more I believed it, the more my life aligned with this new truth. You might think it's just a phrase, but everything in the physical world began with a phrase, an idea, an image. The airplane, the car, the internet, your home. Nothing existed until someone believed strongly enough to bring it into existence. You can do the same with your life, but mechanical repetition isn't the key. The secret is emotion. The subconscious doesn't respond to logic, but to emotional frequency. You can repeat a phrase 1,000 times, but if you feel defeated, nothing changes. If you repeat it with intensity, truth, and feeling, you impress the subconscious. That's where the magic happens. Resistance is inevitable. The old paradigm will fight back, telling you it's nonsense, it won't work, it's not real, it's not you. It's the old programming fighting to survive, keeping you in your comfort zone. It will fight, sabotage, make you forget the affirmation, make you feel foolish and cause procrastination. So, a challenge. For the next 90 days, repeat this affirmation at least 500 times a day, aloud, in private. Write it down, record it, and listen in your car, in the shower, before bed. Most importantly, feel it as if it's already true. Visualize it. Feel the gratitude as if you've already received it. And if you forget one day, double your effort the next. 500 times a day. Yes, that's what it takes to uninstall the old programming. You've spent decades listening to and accepting limiting lies. Do you think a single reading will reverse that? I've met people who transformed their lives with this process. A businessman who had failed 3 times, lost everything, came to me defeated. He applied this method, repeating with faith even without initial results. Today, he leads a multi-million-dollar company. It wasn't a miracle, it was discipline, it was decision. Does it work for everyone? Yes, but only if done correctly. Correctly means consistent, daily repetition without exception. It means feeling, visualizing, declaring with conviction, even when the world seems unchanging. You are one decision away from a new life. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It's now. You don't need to know how it will all happen. The how will unfold along the way. Take command of your mind and repeat, repeat, repeat. Until the new idea surpasses the old one, then nothing will hold you back. Have you ever had days where everything seems to go wrong for no apparent reason? You wake up, nothing bad happened, but you feel bad, heavy, drained. Throughout the day, the world seems to respond to this state. Someone cuts you off in traffic, a client cancels, a friend cancels plans. Things pile up like a negative tide, and you feel trapped in it. It's not coincidence, it's vibration. Vibration is created by your feelings. You may not realize it, but what you feel is an exact reflection of what's happening in your mind, especially your subconscious. Many people think feelings are reactions to the environment, but they're signals, indicators of your vibrational frequency. This frequency determines what you attract. The human body is an antenna, an energy structure in constant vibration. We don't absorb energy from the environment, we release it. And what determines this release is the thought you've accepted as truth. Thought generates feeling, feeling generates action, action generates results. It's a cycle. How many times have you nurtured negative thoughts for days until they become so real that escaping them seems impossible? You say, I'm discouraged, I'm sad, I'm angry, but you don't realize you're saying, I'm in a vibration that connects me with what I don't want. By changing your feeling, you change everything, but most people try to change the external without altering the internal. They want more money, but vibrate scarcity. They want love, but feel fear. They want opportunities, but are resentful. Vibration doesn't lie. I learned this firsthand. There were days I'd wake up with that weight. I'd try to change, studying, applying, but I felt trapped in old emotions. Then I stopped and paid attention to how I felt in each moment. I asked myself, what generates this feeling? I realized I was thinking about the past, about debts, failures, conversations that diminished me. These thoughts created a vibrational state that blocked growth. I started to change the process. It wasn't easy, but it was possible. Whenever I felt bad, I stopped, breathed, and chose a new thought. I thought of something that made me feel good. Gratitude, a happy memory, the image of who I wanted to be. As I repeated this, I noticed my body reacting. My feelings changed, and with them, my results. You can do this. You have this power. Nobody taught you. Nobody told you that you're responsible for your feelings, that you can choose your emotional state like you choose your clothes. Now you know. How many opportunities have you missed because you were in the wrong vibration? How many times have you pushed people away, rejected ideas, refused invitations because you felt bad? What if you had chosen to feel differently? Most people have no idea of the impact of their feelings on their reality. They believe they feel bad because of circumstances, but it's the other way around. Circumstances arise because of the emotional frequency they nurture. Have you ever seen someone enter a room and change its energy just by their presence? Someone radiating enthusiasm, confidence, security without saying a word? It's not magic, it's vibration, and we all have it, but few know how to use it. You can be that person. You don't need to wait for great achievements to feel good. Start now, with small choices. Put on music that uplifts you. Give thanks for something simple. Visualize your victory before it happens. Tell yourself, today I choose to vibrate in confidence. Today I choose to feel good. And if your mind tries to pull you back, and it will, just observe and choose again. There's no wrong vibration that can resist consciousness. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Until, instead of asking, why do I feel bad? You ask, what can I do to feel even better? That's where true change begins. When you reach that frequency, the world responds differently. Ideas emerge. The right people cross your path. Opportunities appear effortlessly. You leave survival mode and live in harmony with your desires. Some people look at successful people and say they got lucky. Others, with that talent, even I could. But what almost no one sees is that success isn't chance. It's a consequence, and more, a consequence of the consistent application of universal laws with unwavering faith and decision. Everything in this universe is governed by laws. Gravity, for example. You don't see it, but it always operates. If you jump off a building, it doesn't matter if you're a good person. Gravity will act the same way. The same is true for the laws governing success, abundance, fulfillment. They don't choose favorites. They respond to vibration, discipline, and faith. But most people think life is a game of chance, a cosmic lottery deciding who will prosper. That's not true. Every human being is born with infinite potential, but few learn to access it. Those who don't live on autopilot, following old patterns and calling it destiny, you have a power greater than any external circumstance. That power sleeps when you don't know how to use it. The key to activating it is the repetition of a new self-image, the decision to accept nothing less than you deserve. I've seen this happen for decades. I've seen people rise from nothing, without education, resources, or connections, but with the unwavering decision to change. People who studied these laws, applied them with faith, repeated principles daily, and became a reference, not by luck, but by consistency. Oprah Winfrey, for example, born into extreme poverty, suffered childhood abuse, was rejected in her career, and yet she didn't limit herself to the story the world wanted to tell. She chose a new image, nurtured it with discipline, aligned her mind, words, actions, everything to this new vision, and the universe responded. Today, she inspires millions, but what changed was her. The world only mirrored. The same law that took Oprah to the top took Mike Tyson to the bottom. He had success, fame, wealth, but he didn't change his paradigm. He maintained the same emotional conditioning, the same limited vision. The result, self-sabotage, destruction. It's not about talent. It's about what you carry inside. You might find this overly motivational, overly mystical. Science already knows. Research from Stanford University has shown that people with a growth mindset, who believe they can evolve, learn, and adapt, are more likely to achieve professional success and emotional well-being. They're not smarter. They just believe they can be, and therefore they act differently. Studies from the Harvard Business Review have revealed that more than 80% of people's financial decisions are linked to emotion, not logic. This explains why someone can win the lottery and lose everything in a few years. It's not a lack of money. It's a lack of internal structure to handle abundance. It's not enough to want a better life. You need to become the person who lives that life. Cultivate the image of someone prosperous, confident, focused, disciplined. Uphold this image every day, especially when nothing seems to change. That's where most people give up. They apply for a week, a month, and don't see results. But the universe doesn't respond to haste, but to frequency, to consistency, to faith that persists even without evidence. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who repeat the cycle. I remember a time when things seemed to be going wrong, even with everything I was applying. My company was starting, but the results were slow in coming. I had already changed my mind, but the world didn't follow me yet. I could have given up, said, "This doesn't work for me." But I chose to maintain focus, repeat, trust the laws I was studying. And do you know what happened? Without warning, connections, invitations, the right ideas emerged. Everything started to flow. I realized that the test wasn't about ability. It all boils down to sticking with it. If you're in the midst of a big change, applying these principles and feeling stuck, keep going. You might be on the verge of a breakthrough. But that breakthrough never happens to quitters. It's the reward for perseverance. Remember this. Success isn't a destination, it's a journey, and that journey starts with a decision to take charge of your mind, to embrace the new way of thinking, to stay focused, and to act confidently, even if the world hasn't caught up yet. Because it will. And when it does, it'll seem like an overnight success, but you'll know better. It was the culmination of unwavering determination, of never giving up. The bottom line? Real change starts the moment you choose to act, even when it's tough. That's the spark that ignites consistent growth. Now click on the next video. We'll take your learning to the next level, helping you become even 1% better than you are today. Thanks for being here. See you in the next one as we continue to grow together. Let me know if you'd like me to tailor this to a specific style or audience. Are you trapped in the world's biggest prison? It's invisible, with no bars or locks, existing only in your mind. The worst part, most inmates don't even realize they're incarcerated. You might spend decades believing you have free will, while unconsciously repeating the same limiting patterns day after day. Think about your morning routine: phone check, autopilot to the bathroom, breakfast out of habit, not hunger. The commute, the endless bills, the feeling of barely scraping by. It's a familiar loop, right? You get home exhausted before you even arrive, wondering why nothing changes. The answer: you're shackled by deeply ingrained beliefs, a mental framework you likely adopted long ago without even realizing it. These limiting beliefs, often passed down from family, school, and society, things like money doesn't grow on trees, you can't escape your circumstances, or wealth is for the privileged, silently dictate your life choices. You think you're making independent decisions, but your results are merely a reflection of this subconscious programming. It subtly controls your productivity, self-esteem, relationships, and finances. How many brilliant ideas have you abandoned, dismissing them as unrealistic, too ambitious, or better suited for someone more qualified? That's not incompetence. It's your internal programming sabotaging your potential. Most people go through life completely unaware of this self-imposed prison, believing they just need to work harder, sleep less, grind themselves to the bone. The problem isn't the effort, it's the direction. It's like driving with the emergency brake engaged. The engine roars, but you barely move. You blame the economy, other people, bad luck, anything but the deeply ingrained beliefs holding you back. I know this firsthand. I was a high school dropout with dead-end jobs, changing tires, washing floors, even a stint in the Navy that never took me to sea. It wasn't a lack of desire. I simply didn't know I could desire more. I accepted my limitations as my reality. Then someone gave me a book, Think and Grow Rich. I didn't grasp everything at first, but something ignited within me. Through repeated readings, a simple thought emerged. Maybe I can change. That spark began to chip away at the invisible walls of my self-made prison. I realized it wasn't the world that needed fixing. It was me. I became obsessed with understanding the power of the mind. I learned about the conscious mind, selecting thoughts that, when nurtured, become deeply ingrained subconscious beliefs. These beliefs, in turn, control your actions, your creations, and ultimately, your manifestations. The crucial point: your subconscious doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination. It accepts whatever you repeatedly tell it, especially if you feel it deeply. If you constantly see yourself as a failure, unlucky, or perpetually in debt, that's what your subconscious will deliver. It will subtly sabotage opportunities, making you avoid risks and remain confined. Conversely, nurture the image of a successful, capable, and deserving person, and your subconscious will guide you toward new paths, connections, and opportunities. Do you see the difference? Have you ever believed you weren't meant for success, that happiness and wealth are unattainable? What if I told you that belief wasn't yours to begin with? It's a narrative imposed by others, trapped in the same limiting paradigm. Will you continue to accept it? You already possess everything you need. Not more effort, but more awareness. Identify the limiting beliefs driving your life and consciously plant a new seed of belief. Your mind will resist, whispering, "It's silly. It won't work for you. You've tried everything before." That's the old paradigm fighting for survival, keeping you in the familiar, even if it's painful. Question your thoughts, observe your habits, and alter your self-image. Changing that internal image inevitably transforms your external results. You want to change, but you don't know where to start. You read books, watch videos, make promises of "this time it'll be different," only to fall back into old patterns. Why? Because the only way to change your reality is to rewrite the code of your subconscious programming. Real change demands repetition, persistence, and crucially, emotion. Simply stating your intention isn't enough. The decision must move from your conscious mind to your subconscious. It's like trying to alter a computer program by only changing the display. The underlying code continues to run. That code is your paradigm. It controls your habits, choices, emotions, and ultimately, your results. The good news? You can rewrite that code. You don't need a degree, luck, or anyone's permission. Simply understand the mechanism, plant a new idea, nurture it with repetition and emotion, and it will transform into a new belief that will subtly alter your actions, even unconsciously.